great to see you all. Let's connect to our deep Ujjayi breath. Aligning skull bones over sit bones. And we can soak up, intentionally intake whatever natural resources are available to us. So if you have a crispness, a moisture, a sun, a heat, a water element near you, one, it's a gesture of aligning ourselves with nature. And it can also be a remembrance that we are of this earth. We're part of a larger ecosystem. And let us do our part in this ecosystem. This ecosystem of humanity, of goodness, nature, of beauty. We'll begin with some rounds of Kapalabhati. Kapalabhati, short, sharp exhalations out the nose, the engine of which is in the low belly. I'll mute shortly thereafter, and we'll continue for about 60 pumps. Let's begin. After those many pumps, find out as you return to your deep Ujjayi breath if you can absorb, assimilate those natural elements again, more deeply. So this really is a practice in reception, absorption. We have this funny little human brain that seems to need a lot more practice of bringing in the allyships and the positives and the bright, wonderful, brilliant things. And it only requires very tiny doses of the less than beneficial things. I just want to give us this practice of bringing in the good. Okay, we'll do one more round Kapalabhati, and when you're through with your 60 pumps, just resume your Ujjayi breath, and I'll give us some more instruction in a moment. So Kapalabhati 60, begin. And in the second last round of Kapalabhati, at its conclusion, as you resume your Ujjayi breath, right, taking each breath as an intake, like you're absorbing it deeply into your blood cells, your bone cells, your biofield, like you're getting charged up. And as you're doing so, feel if there's any slight hesitancy or even resistance around that gesture of absorption. For some of us, it may feel like a welcome presence, bringing these beneficial alliances into our system. And for some of us, it may feel like I don't deserve to bring that in, or I'm hesitant to bring that in. Just notice if there's any, we can say, allergic response to ingesting and absorbing the goodness. Because if ever there was a time where we could beneficially absorb goodness and bank it in our body, this is a great time to do it. It's putting our goodness lens on. All right. So let's adjust our seated position. Let's go right over left, crossing the legs. How you cross the legs is up to you. We have options like just seated cross leg. We have knee pile. I'm choosing knee pile today. There's shoelace. So right over left cross. And let's bring the left elbow in front of our left shoulder. Turn a little bit. Inhaling into the pelvis, the mid-back, and the shoulder blade part of our back. Exhale, glide that left shoulder down away from your ear. Just scoot it down, pull it down, and reach the elbow forward. As you reach the elbow forward, feel how that whole shoulder blade slides around the ribs. Now inhaling into those ribs and under that left shoulder blade. And then exhaling, glide that left shoulder down, that left shoulder blade down, reach that elbow forward, and give that elbow, that forearm, a little key turn, like elbow slightly shifts in, and I mean slight, and the wrist slightly shifts to your left. Little key turn, hopefully gets those chest muscles perky. Okay, and if you need your hand to just check the left set of chest muscles, make sure they're turning on. Now inhaling, feel those ribs left side under the shoulder blade expanding. Place your right palm against your left elbow. Exhale, press. Press the palm into the elbow. Press the elbow into the palm, glide the shoulder down. So there's chest engagement, the shoulder glides down, spread open the hand bones, lengthen through the neck, and for one deep breath, relaxing face, expanding the ribs under the left shoulder blade. And here we go. Exhale. Give it your pressure. Give it your best pressure. Press, press, press. You're letting all those muscles start to warm up, turn on, lengthen slightly. The upper trapezius lengthens. Some of those back muscles lengthen. And release. Woo. Okay. Seated spinal twist. So Adjust. We still have right over left cross. I'm adjusting into half lotus or cross-legged. We'll be twisting to our right. So inhale, telescope through the core, lifting the sternum. Exhale, turn to your right or clockwise. The right hand may capture the right foot behind your back. And if you feel that wrist contacting your low back, let's use that as a focal device. Breathe underneath those right wrist bones. Keeping the nose and the chin over the sternum, aligned over sternum. Exhale. Feel for that gesture of release deep, centrally in your core. When we find that gesture of release in our body, it actually enables deeper absorption. Absorption of the goodness, those allyships, those natural helpers. And release. Inhaling, come back to center. All right, let's switch the cross of our legs. Now we have left over right. Your choice. I'm choosing knee pile to start, left over right. And we'll begin with unlocking the shoulder. So right elbow in front of right shoulder. And so inhaling, we'll expand the ribs underneath the right shoulder blade. Spreading that breath into the hips. Right, exhale, pull that right shoulder away from the earlobe. Pull that shoulder blade down and reach the elbow forward. Feel how as the elbow moves forward, the shoulder blade slips slightly forward. Inhale, expand those ribs under the blade. So while these surface shoulder muscles are working, feel that there's no impedance to those rib muscles working, spreading, breathing underneath that shoulder girdle. And again, exhale, we'll glide that shoulder down as you engage or elbow in, turn on the chest, and wrist slightly turns out. There's that little key turn of the forearm. Okay. Inhaling, spread the hand bones widely. Reaching breath down into the hips, helping them to settle, soften. Exhale, shoulder down, blade down, reach that elbow forward. And feel those chest muscles, they turn on. Check them if you need to check them. Left palm, inside right elbow, inhale. And as we exhale, deep press, pressing elbow into palm, palm into elbow, press. Glide that shoulder down as you engage the front of your shoulder, the chest. Reach forward, reach forward. One deep breath more. Eyes relaxed, lips relaxed. Here it goes. And exhaling the shoulder down, the chest muscles might be burning a little bit, but reach, press, and release. So if we get a little warmth going, I consider that a beneficial response. It's not a bad thing at all. All right, I'm going with a half lotus or cross-legged, left over right. Inhaling, lengthening through the low back. So the sit bones sink down, the rib cage vertically floats up. Exhaling, we'll turn to our left. Seated spinal twist. That left hand may capture the left foot behind your back. Now let's practice that spreading breath downward. For many of us, I suspect the low back, the sacrum and the low back and the hips can be such an area of many messages. And so how do we meet it with breath? How do we bring this allyship, this goodness? How do we absorb that in and with our back muscles, our back joints, the space of our back, the pelvic space? And if you tune into that space, which includes the anatomy, but isn't just our solid anatomy, it's that space of our pelvis, as you tune into that, you may even get some deeper messaging from your body. How does it feel when to reside in our low back? I just want to bring up a little sidebar piece here with the sacrum as we're taking these next 3 deep breaths in this twist. I've often encountered almost like a cluster of emotional content with regards to the sacrum and the back. Very often includes a guilt, the emotion guilt. And something I've discovered is anytime I return back to practice, I've never felt chastised for being away. I've never experienced guilt on the return back to our body. It's always a forgiving, embracing homecoming. So just consider how coming back to our body does not require a guilt response. All right, let's release. Inhaling, unwind. Whew. Let's set up for some dolphin. So once we unwind our legs, and we'll set our elbows under our shoulders, our knees under our hips, placing our forearms out in front, parallel, or you can create that triangular base by clasping hands. So here I'm pushing the forearms down into the mat as I'm simultaneously pulling, gliding the shoulders away from my earlobes. Inhale into back and sides of heart. And as we exhale, toes curled under, shift your sacrum away from the low back, straightening the legs, entering dolphin. With each deep breath, feel for that movement of absorption. You're bringing something like your deep breath, these beautiful natural elements. I like the natural elements because they tend to be universally felt and experienced as beneficial. But feel for bringing them into your pose, feeding them into your joints, feeding them into your organs, your kidneys, your liver, your spleen. The back of the heart. And again, with this absorption move, it's a very particular, I'll call it a medicine move. If there's resistance around bringing something in, because there might be, let's just take a gentle approach, is noticing any degree of resistance. Just that simple acknowledgement is a very caring, very kind thing. It's also an essential move to learn when we're changing our patterns and our behaviors from less healthy, less good to more healthy, more good, more life conducive. It actually helps us reinstate and wash in a new pattern. So it's an important movement nutrient. Gently set the knees down. We'll set up for abdominals. Let's anticipate a pair of, we'll have abdominals and we'll have bridge. So let's bring the roll beside us. Let's bring our block beside us. And then lie on back. Now, if some of you are working with some sacral tenderness, please remember, we can keep the feet or start the feet on the ground. The shape of the sacrum here with feet on ground, it can be much more supportive and forgiving. So please remember, this is always an option. Feet on a wall, supported on a wall or furniture, is always an option. Today, I'll bring my feet off the ground. Inhale, float the head and shoulders off the ground. As I reach the elbows up, feel how you're unlocking the shoulders. There's that iteration there. Curl tailbone. Exhale, reach the left leg out. Spreading the forefoot. The toes will spread a little bit. I'll pull low belly down, so we get very empty of breath and quite an amount of engagement. Inhale, bend knee, back centrally, girl tailbone, exhale, right leg reach out. Spread the foot bones, pull low belly down. Inhale, bring in that good quality, whether it's that moisture, the silence of the snow, or the winds off the beach. Curl tailbone, exhale, reach out through that left leg. Pull low belly down, feeling that thigh bone shift, those belly muscles working. Inhale, bend that left knee. Let that breath come in. Let it come all the way into that belly. That's why we do these. Curl tailbone, exhale, right leg out reaches. Send it out. Send it out to feel the thigh bone move. Pull the low belly down to feel that deeper level of engagement that we might not ordinarily get. And let's do 4 more each side. Inhale, bending the right knee. We'll do those on our own. I'll meet you back in 8 breaths. Sometimes it's really important and vitalizing to work the physical body deeply. It doesn't mean abruptly necessarily, but feeling it work deeply, strongly. That will help us bring this vitality, this goodness into our body. Often, when we can work, feel, and engage the physical body on a deep level, we can start to bring those new energetic patterns in. In the yogic cosmology, kind of the order of operations, if you will, the claim is energy first, matter is downstream from energy. It's a two-way channel for sure, but creating those little intentional shifts, those breath shifts, those energetic shifts in the body gradually, over time, over practice, dithers down into our physical substrate as a new structure, hopefully a more vital structure, maybe a more resilient, a robust structure. So the intent and the energy, it matters. Literally, it becomes our matter. Great, looks like that is complete. Grab your roll. And again, keep reminding us, if you're working with some sacral tenderness, you might like keeping the feet on the ground for these roll maneuvers. So we've got the roll between the legs. And if there's no pain in the back to bring the legs up, there we go. Inhaling into the low back. I just feel, are you sandblasting the back? Does the back absorb this breath? Which movement nutrient Kind of soaks in there. There you go. Squeeze the roll. Exhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. Now we're going to squeeze the roll so we get all those inner leg muscles kind of tuned on. Those inner leg muscles extend to that inner part of the knee, so feel those engage. Through the inner parts of the calf, ankles, and arches, pull low belly down away from the roll, keeping those leg lines lit. And then as you inhale, you can relax all of those efforts, setting the head down, softening all those squeezes. These squeezes are also part of our circulatory system. So we want to make sure to take the squeeze off. Pause as you're holding your breath. Apply squeeze. Squeeze the roll. Squeeze, feeling where the roll is placed. Feel that squeeze running through the inner knees, all the way up through the inner ankles and arches. Exhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. Keep the squeeze, and here we go, pulling the belly down. We'll get really empty, but keep squeezing the legs, emptying of breath, squeezing the legs, empty, empty, pull it down. Inhale, set the head down, relief, squeeze relief. You have to let that off, because you might even feel some of those fluids kind of pumping back in. Hold that breath, squeeze the roll, and let that squeeze accumulate up through the inner knees, the inner calves, the inner, all the way up to the feet, spreading those foot bones. Exhale, head, shoulder blades off the ground. Keep the squeeze. Pull low belly down, getting quite empty, squeezing and emptying. Inhale, set the head down. Let's continue squeezing the roll. Exhaling, head and shoulder blades off the ground. Keep the squeeze. Increase the squeeze if you're feeling gutsy. Pull low belly down, so you're emptying breath as you squeeze. Inhaling, set head down. Squeeze, letting that off. Squeeze the roll. Now you're letting these legs feel some charge. Exhale, float the head and the shoulder blades off the ground. Keep the squeeze, increase the squeeze, 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 squeeze. Pull low belly down. It's like you're ringing every last little bit out and through. And now as you inhale, setting the head down, relaxing the belly, feel if that's shifting how you absorb that breath into that belly, as you absorb those wonderful nutrients into your back. Squeeze roll, we'll do just two more. Girl tailbone, exhale, float head and shoulders off the ground. Feet active. Getting all that wonderful squeeze and livening the legs. Pull low belly down, emptying, squeezing, emptying. Last one, here we go. Inhale, head down, relax the squeeze. Hold the breath momentarily, squeeze the thing, curl tailbone. Exhale as you reach the elbows up, unlock the shoulders, squeeze the roll, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lengthen through those legs. You're stretching them, lengthening them as you squeeze. Pull low belly down, lengthening the legs, squeezing, squeezing. And release. Inhaling, head down. Exhaling, set the feet down. This is maybe a good moment to relax the legs. I like to relax them apart, like soles of feet together, knees apart. And when I've done that, expressing the tissues, all that squeeze work directly following, I like to feel if that alters my perception of absorption. So go ahead and breathe into your groin, into your hips, into your colon and your guts. And just feeling, do these areas of the body, are they more readily absorbing each breath, sponging it up? Now, admittedly, to feel this absorption movement nutrient, it really helps me if I feel I'm in a safe spot. I feel I'm supported and safe. So just want to acknowledge that absorption, bringing this into our body can be a very an interesting dance. All right, let's set up for bridge. Now I've got my block ready. Anticipate, I'll talk us through, that we'll be working Virasana, half Virasana. So feet set up, hip width apart, heels fingertip distance away. Inhale. Into the sacrum, into the hips, the low back. Exhaling, curl the tailbone, the buttock lifts, the spine lifts, the feet are active. Okay. And I want to describe a slight variation so you can get really, really certain about this, what I'm calling a movement nutrient. As I'm describing absorption, it's really something is entering what's different and related is I'm not shooting or sending breath into a distant object, my body. So it's not like this carbon arc of, here's me, subject, delivering breath to body object. I'm not like casting a fishing line of breath into some area. It's really I'm inhabiting that area of my body and entering in, absorbing, drinking up this breath all around me. It's a little different move, but I just want to be clear there's a difference. So half Virasana. Feet are active. Let's start with the left side. This is where left hand reach down, grabs left ankle. I'm drawing the ankle back, drawing the foot back. Maybe the tops of my toenails rest on the ground. Now I still press vibrantly through that right foot and that right leg. As I reach my thigh bones away from my nose, I can create relief and support for my back. So let those leg actions be a part of our support strategy. with your left foot on the ground. This next part is 100% optional. If you feel comfortable raising the right leg skyward, you may do so. Know that you will be sitting, resting atop the block. So there's weight, pressure as you reach the right leg skyward. For some sacrums, this feels really good, and for some, it is not a delight. So engage this move with curiosity and careful caution, common sense. Let's switch sides by setting the right foot down, pressing, lightening the load on the block, releasing the left foot to the ground, pressing vibrantly left foot into the ground. Your ankle, your left ankle may be in a slightly new position, so press, getting interested in how that feels. And withdraw the right foot back, half Forasana. I'm using my right hand to draw the right foot back. And reaching both thigh bones forward, forward meaning away from my nose tip. We'll need that move in the future, so good to get it now while we're well supported. Reconnect to that deep Ujjayi breath. Because as we start to stretch or feel a little tug around the thighs and the front of the body, because we have so much vulnerable organs and nerves through the front of our body, I just want to keep that breath freely flowing. Could be that tendency to guard our front of body. But what would that be like to soften our guard over the belly, to breathe and absorb these light nutrients, the full moon, which was a beautiful full moon, snow moon yesterday. All right, now here's that optional. If you're feeling curious, we'll raise the left leg skyward. That means our right leg is in half Forasana still, and we're bringing the left leg up. If you don't like the way that feels, keep that left foot on the ground. Face muscles relaxed, legs working vibrantly. So nice thing about Forrest yoga, I find, is that when it's appropriate in your chapter of life and you want to really engage those muscles, this is a brilliant and beautiful style and format to get a lot of physical circulation. You can really engage and reach and send and move and be quite active even in these stillness moments. Now let's set that left foot down. Let's release the right foot from that half Virasana. So now both feet are down. Bridge a little higher. You may have made some more freedom in those hips. Press off that block. And let's take our time descending out of bridge. And once we've lowered, deep breath into the belly, front of your body, front of your thighs. And today we're just checking in with that movement, that skillful movement of absorption. And you feel that breath kind of soaking into these areas that we're momentarily exciting and working and moving. All right, let's turn onto a side and let's press up. We have to do some more work. Let's stand at the top of our mat. And we'll move through some suns with smoothness and some swiftness. Please know ahead of time, we'll be using a roll for our belly. So if we're skating by without a roll, make sure you have something nearby, like a pillow or a soft round prop. We'll get to that. Inhale, draw the arms up, spreading the hand bones. Feel the heel bones sink into the earth. Like it's wet soil under there. Exhale, fold. Fold forward. The hands can end up on the legs or on the ground. Inhale, left foot back for lunge. We'll set the knee down this time. Press legs down, lift arms up, lift ribs up. Hands to ground, exhaling, right foot back. And we lower, pulling the shoulders away from the ears. Reach back through both big toes, Cobra. Inhale, belly into the ground. Pulling that solar plexus away from the hips. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. Reset hands. Press back. Shifting sacrum away from heart. Inhale, left foot forward, lunge. Setting the right knee down. Expanding the ribs, telescoping the ribs. Hands to ground, exhale, right foot forward, fold. Inhale, stand, draw the arms up. Exhaling, hands to heart. Good, deep breaths. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, right foot back, lunge. Hands to ground, exhale, left foot back, lower. Plank to ground, inhale, Cobra. I use the hands, I pull. Exhaling, lower, downward dog. Press those arms, straighten those arms, shift those sit bones back. Lunge, inhale, right foot forward. Hands to ground, exhale, left foot forward, fold. Inhale, stand, draw those arms up, spreading the hand bones, and feel the heels sinking down away from the sacrum. Exhale, hands to heart. Now we'll do two of those other suns. So chair pose, inhale, bend knees, reach arms up. Exhale, fold, neck relaxed. And with those feet still active, inhale, monkey. Use hands to move the chest away from the lap. Exhaling, step back, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhale, right foot forward, warrior one. Hands to ground, exhale, chaturanga. Step right foot back, lower. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Warrior one, inhale, left foot forward. Absorption. taking each breath, creating this ecosystem of goodness. Exhaling, step that left foot back. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhale, step. Feet forward, monkey. Exhaling, fold. Chair pose. Inhale, bend knees, reach the arms up. Standing, exhale, hands to heart. Chair pose. Inhale, bend knees, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, monkey. Exhale, a step back, chaturanga. Inhaling, upward dog. I reach back through those thighs, those big toes. Exhaling, downward dog. Warrior one, inhale, left foot forward. Feel that intake of breath. Hands to ground, exhaling, chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog. Warrior one, inhale, right foot forward. Hands to ground, exhale, chaturanga, step right foot back, lowering. Inhale, upward dog. Exhaling, downward dog, relaxing neck, feet active. Inhale, step both feet forward, monkey. Using hands to move the chest away from lap. Exhaling, fold, feeling the trunk soften groundward. Chair pose, inhaling, bend knees, reach the arms up, spreading hand bones. Stand, exhaling, hands to heart. All right, chair pose. Little change of scenery here in a moment. Exhale, fold. Neck soft, eyes soft, monkey. Inhale, collar away from lap. Exhaling, step feet back, chaturanga. Now, inhaling, upward dog. Pull those elbows back toward the back of your mat. Exhaling, downward dog. Okay. Now, when we inhale the right foot forward, we're setting up this abbreviated warrior stance. So really short foot spacing, maybe 3.5 feet. So we can bend that back knee, hands on hips. You remember this. Now I'm exaggerating right now. You see how my head is kind of hanging forward? That's what most of us will do. So just take this head and it's like you're bringing it over the heart. So I've got head, heart, pelvis in this vertical line. My knee, my left knee is under my pelvis. Inhale from your pelvis, right between your hands, expanding the ribs. Exhale, press down through those hands, send the heart skyward. It helps me to lift or reach the crown of my head up as well. Kind of helps me open up, I should say uncollapse my throat. Reaching that left thigh down. So this is that move we did in bridge. I'm sending my left thigh bone away from my nose tip. Now, what if my quads are burning? Should I jump out of this? That's enticing. But here's the thing. When we get muscles working deeply, when we get blood circulating, when we create these little shifts of perception and these shifts energetically, let's take great advantage of those moments as we're breathing. Feel this absorption, bringing something in the distillation of something so pure and excellent and beneficial to us. And gently set that left knee down. Whew, right? Twisting lunge. Inhale, reach the left arm up. Exhale, hook your left arm over your right thigh. Left hand makes a fist. Creates a firm shelf against which to press right hand. Now, just having moved from that last pose to this pose, note if you've subtly compressed in your guts. And if you can remember that little energetic shift that you had just created, I think I felt that, I think so. You can reinstate that, remember that, re-embody that in this twist. And so we get to these energetic patterns. One, we can all feel them. It just may take some practice or some just getting acclimated to that kind of feeling, that kind of sensing. But once you start to identify, oh yeah, I was kind of scrunching up in my guts and I can change that pattern. Oh, I can try on a new pattern. Oh, I like how that new pattern feels better. Oh, that new pattern, that new way of breathing and holding my structure actually feels more beneficial. Right? We can start to make these changes from the inside. We become an adaptable ecosystem of energetic constellations. We become stewards, really, the best stewards of our interiors. Inhale, let's unwind. Hands to ground. Now, before I step back for a chaturanga, I'm just going to place a block at the foot of my mat. Okay? Step that right foot back. So now you're grasping the block with both of your inner feet. And here, I'll lower down chaturanga. Okay, I'm lowering all the way down. I do have to re-grasp the block with the tops of my feet on the ground. And now inhale, upward dog or Cobra. What's kind of nice about this block is now I can pull my ribs away from my thighs. Exhaling, downward dog. Here I'm letting go of the block. All right. Inhale, left foot forward. Here's our abbreviated warrior stance. My feet are about 3 feet apart. This allows me to bend the right knee down. Hands on hips. And bring the head over the heart, over the pelvis. Inhale right between the hands, which are on the hips. Exhaling, press those hands down, telescope, ribs skyward. Now reach that right thigh bone down. So I'm sending that right thigh bone away from my nose. You may have to dip down a little further if you don't feel that. Now, why am I willing to do this? Why am I willing to burn things up like this? I'm willing to dip down because I know that when I start to circulate differently, when I work my muscles more deeply and I get this blood flowing and I get these wonderful shifts of perception and feeling, there's a little window of moment I can bring something new in. So why am I willing to do this? Because something new and fresh and an allyship is worth these efforts. That's my opinion. Of course, try it out for yourself. Yeah, so my thigh bone is directly under my belly. So for some of us, we may need to back up, but we're doing pretty good. We're doing really good. Now let's gently set that knee down, soft, soft. Twisting lunge. Inhale, raise that right arm up. Here I'm lifting the chest away from my right thigh. Exhaling, twist. Hook that right elbow over the left thigh. So we're twisting to our left. So it's really cool and it's very empowering to learn. What did I just do internally? Did I scrunch down? Right, that kind of internal compressive move. It's a beautiful kind of defense. It's a beautiful defense. I will scrunch up. I will squeeze up if I'm trying to defend. But in the interest and the practice of absorption, can I feel that gesture of release from the solar plexus, the deep and central interiors of my core, my guts? Can I feel that softness rippling through the periphery of my skin and my field? And then can I feel these next two breaths? A breath absorption. It was really important to have identified something that is so good, such goodness that you'd be willing to bring it in. Right? We can't really afford an allergic response all of the time. Right? I'm talking psychologically. I'm not talking immunologically. Inhale, let's unwind. Now we set our hands down. Please remember there's a block at the foot of our mat. And now there's a roll for underneath our gut. So let's place that roll mid-mat. So we can start this on our forearms. The block is between my inner ankles. So often where I can express, where I can move, press, circulate, shift, stretch, I can create these little windows of opportunistic absorption. Okay. Remember, a lot of our practice are just creating these little windows, these little windows, these little windows. All right, let's set the hands up for Cobra. So the block between the ankles, the roll is under the gut. Now when we come up, just anticipate we'll be here a few breaths. Inhale into the roll, into our belly. Just lightly elevating, not a big curve, just a light elevation. Exhale, pin those ankles to the block, and gently with the hands, attenuate your that natural descent. You'll feel how the body wants to just kind of naturally deflate over that roll. Just use your hands to make that a smooth transition. 2 more breaths, inhaling into the roll and behind the breastbone. Keep those feet pinned to the block. Exhaling, let the hands attenuate or pad or control the speed of your descent. Once more. And we lower until we can get the hands now under the chest. And on your next exhale, press back onto your knees. We'll move the roll. Inhaling into your gut and your sacrum. Exhaling, downward dog, shifting your sacrum away from your heart. Lengthening, lengthening through your guts. Lengthening. Relaxing the neck will help that gut lengthening move. Now breathe into your guts. Again, did we just create a little window? A window of absorption? Can you feel a different quality of absorption in and around your guts? Can you feel the breath getting absorbed? Can you feel these natural elements? And it's about moving the mind through our body, threading our mindfulness, threading our feeling awareness into our body, many different ways. All right, lunge. Inhale, step right foot forward. This lunge is heel up, knee up. Okay? I'm drawing the arms overhead. So this is that lengthier stance. Now we've already done quite a bit to kind of get into that top of your thigh. So now I want you to feel or imagine lengthening that left thigh away from your belly. And just consider that we're momentarily creating a vulnerable moment around our belly, around our pelvis. It's just momentary. And in this moment of openness, can you feel that absorption? Can you feel for bringing in these elements or whatever is an ally to you? Keep reaching that thigh away from your navel, lifting your navel away from your thigh. It'll help to keep feeling the big toe on your left foot. Feel for that big toe ball mount. And as it lengthens, you may find yourself going deeper and deeper into that lunge. And gently set that knee down. So, I want you to get fairly supportive and comfortable in your lunge as we set up archer. So I'm using a strap in my right hand and lowering it to my left hand. Right elbow points up and my left elbow points down. So I don't want to enter into archer feeling like my back is funny or spasming. So if you need to shift just a half inch back. Just shift a half inch back, not all the way back, just enough. Because we can always deepen back in. All right, Archer. So, I'm intoning that lengthening out through the left thigh bone, that reaching out and back through the big toe. Inhaling, lift. Getting that billowing breath, buoying the chest bones away from your navel. Exhaling, right elbow lifts toward sky, gentle. So if you're experiencing something a little funky in your low back, try pressing through your right heel. Try working that right heel into the ground so you feel more of your right leg muscles. They really push the ground. That goes such a long way to supporting the back. And release. Inhaling. Let's let that archer go. Pressing the hips back out of lunge. And recall, there's a block back there. And there's another dose of roll. So let's set the roll into play. Lowering belly onto roll. Cobra over roll. Squeeze those inner ankles against the block, but also reach those leg bones back. Intimate leg bones moving back. Sometimes when we engage, we tend to cluster and compress. Engage and feel the body open. Hands under chest. Inhale. Feel that breath billowing from that roll behind the sternum. Remain as you exhale, press those leg bones back. Two more deep breaths in this cobra. If your gut's kind of achy, just know, pushing with the hands can help you absorb that roll into your guts at a slower rate. Absorption does not have to mean all at once right now. It can be slow absorption. It can be ultra slow absorption. It doesn't have to be fast absorption. Right? There's biological consequences for all of these rates of absorption. All right, softening, lowering, getting the hands under the chest. Exhaling, press off the roll, press back onto knees. And then downward dog. If your legs are straightened, if they are, can you engage those quadriceps? I bet they're starting to engage in a different way. The quadriceps, we can say the knee straightening muscles. And you can, and shifting the sacrum away from the heart. while those quadriceps are lit. Yeah, so you can feel the hips lightening away from the wrists. There we go. Wonderful. Nice. Now let's inhale the left foot forward. Lunge. Lunge is knee up, heel up. I'm going to intimate right quad, right thigh bone, lengthening away from our navel. Just creating this momentary window, if you will, of openness from the right hip, through the right belly, through the gut, and under the heart. And just allowing these elements, your breath, to absorb into the belly, to absorb into the hip. Absorption can be a delicate process psychologically, so we're not trying to open anything like action verb. We're not prying anything open, but we're situated in our belly, in our pelvis, in our guts and our hip, and we're feeling this something good is coming our way. Actively receiving, reception. And gently set that right knee down. Archer. This time we've got the left elbow pointing up and the right elbow pointing down. Now, the delicate thing about reception, deeper reception, is it does bring more information. So we're not trying to overload our system, but we're just gradually acclimating to, can I sense a little bit more? Can I sense with a depth of my body? Because to whatever degree I can receive and absorb and perceive, that's my offering to the ecosystem of, right? When I'm with friends and family, listening with the depths of me is an entirely different interaction than only listening with a surface degree of attentiveness. How can we listen and absorb with the depth of our being? It's here, right? And release. Let's set that releasing out of Archer, carefully backing out of Lunge. Now let's set the left knee down. Hands under chest, and we lower down. There's a block between your ankles. Prepare for upward dog. Get the hands under the chest, under the shoulders. Pinch that block, lengthen through your inner legs. The tops of your feet are on the ground. Shift the tailbone toward the ground. You feel how that turns on the backs of your legs and butt? Inhale. Push down with the tops of your feet as you pull the chest forward. So it's push and it's pull. Keep reaching those leg bones back. That's a big part of back relief. Exhaling, downward dog. Feels good. All right. Let's gently set the knees down. Let me provide us two options with which to move through our back bends. Option one is dancer. And just a quick visual remembrance. Dancer is where we're standing with a strap connecting one foot to two hands. So dancer is option one. We have time today to do a round on each side. Option two, and I think I'm doing this one today, although I kind of want to do them all, is lying on a roll, strap connecting one foot to one hand. It's the same side, so it's a one-sided pose, so I have to do both sides. Okay, so select for one, dancer, or lying on a roll, strap. And I'm starting off lying on a roll, my right hand looped with my right foot. And anticipate we'll spend about 8 breaths per side. We'll work together, and we'll just do each side one time. So when you feel ready, slow absorption. Those of you working on the roll, set your left hand down and let us enter, inhaling into the belly, floating the chest away from the belly. And exhaling, if you've got that right leg in loop, gently reach through that right thigh. Reach through that front elbow. 8 breaths. Creating these moments, these windows, where deeper absorption may be possible. Let's explore that. Bring the goodness in, bring it in. That gesture of softening, that gesture of release can help us become more prone to absorption. Feeling the good. All right. And let's carefully relax and release from that one side. If you're working dancer, you also have to change the footing. So now I've got my left foot looped. If you're lying on a roll, it's looping with the left hand. If you're working dancer, you have to grab the strap with both hands. Ready? Here we do. Last side. And you might try, Molly, just the gentlest of gentlest leg bone length in a way that softens the colon, that last like 8 or 12 inches of colon. the strap, please. And to provide some relief, 2 moves. We'll step the right foot forward for lunge, lunge. Did I get that right? Yes. So my left hand is down, my right foot is down, and I'm hugging my right leg with my right arm. So this is the one where it's lunge, and I'm hugging, twisting, draping the ribs down. And let the breath kind of absorb gently into that left side, so you don't have to go for maximal stretch. This is a nice moment to go for maximal sensitivity. Sometimes when I prioritize sensitivity, I can move much easier, softer, gentler. Remember, a lot of these exercises is how do we move our mind through our body? How do we thread our feeling awareness into this material substrate? If we're always jabbing through it, we just get that resultant structure. What if I could move ultra slow, like molasses, sap? All right, pigeon, inhaling, unwind. Walk the right foot to the left side of the mat. Lie your right shin and knee down. I was going to say this for everyone. If you have an image of the colon, it kind of like a horseshoe, kind of goes up and over and down and then out centrally. If you can visualize or get a sense of your colon, breathe down and letting the hip and the buttock and the sacrum absorb this breath. Can you relax through colon area, pelvic floor? I'm just remembering, ladies, the colon and the uterus have a common surface. It's actually right up next to each other, touching each other. All right. Inhale, let's walk the hands under the shoulders. Exhaling, either slide your right knee back or press into downward dog. Sometimes I'll slide my knee back like a tabletop position if I'm feeling really delicate in the back for whatever reason. Okay. And I'll lunge, inhale the left foot forward. These are the last 2 poses we'll do, and then we'll rest. So if you're all right, so my right hand is down, my left hand is hugging my left leg. And you don't have to go maximal stretch. Maybe we do this by way of maximal sensitivity. Exactly. So some of you are feeling and getting that relaxing actually relaxes the left hip too. You can feel the pelvic bone kind of just curving around that left thigh bone. Oh, yeah, it's relaxing the whole of that pelvic and low back structure. And pigeon. Inhale, unwind. Walk the left foot over. Lie the left shin down. All right, shifting onto your left hip. So you can draw the right leg just all the way around. And here we'll lie back for you know what, Shavasana. So take a moment to lie back, to check in with your back, ensure it's adequately in relief. Set up any props that you need. And so here's our window. Yet another great window. So we've done this incredible work to massage and express all of these material elements of our body, the watery blood and the elastic musculature and the sinew and the solid bone, the reef-like bone. So let your breath move in and vitalize and replenish. We are greatest stewards of this internal environment, and one of our greatest allies is our breath. Let that breath move in, let it catalyze the restoration. And the renewal of this exquisite and conscious vehicle. how wonderful and resourceful when we can show up as fully spirited, fully alive beings. What a gift. When you're ready, bend knees. Turn to a side. And press yourself to seated. I love that we can do this. I love that we're here. Namaste.